It's Wednesday, September 25. In the headlines in local news, public defender urges mandatory body-worn cameras after fatal police shooting. In business news, we have your market updates and more. Regionally, Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister defends a sovereign right to support U.S. in Caribbean waters. And in sports, Barbados to host the CPL final for the first time in 2026. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Brittany Clark. The Office of the Public Defender, OPD, has joined the mounting calls for urgent police reform, urging that body-worn cameras be made mandatory for all law enforcement operations following the fatal police shooting of 22-year-old Jamar Farquharson. In a statement issued to the Gleaner on Wednesday, the OPD emphasized the necessity of adopting body-worn cameras as standard equipment during planned operations. The statement read, quote, "We firmly support and recommend that body-worn cameras must be made mandatory for all planned operations, ensuring that both the citizens and officers are protected by a clear record of events," end quote. Public Defender Carolyn Reed Cameron, King's Counsel, reaffirmed the office's commitment to systematic reform, noting that the OPD will continue to advocate for legislative and policy changes that promote accountability, transparency, and the protection of constitutional rights. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, has not issued a public response. Jamaica is welcoming the entry into force of the United Nations High Seas Treaty, also known as the PBCJ Agreement. Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith says the landmark agreement will strengthen ocean governance and protect marine biodiversity while ensuring fair access to resources. The High Seas Treaty officially comes into effect on January 17, 2026. Minister Johnson-Smith says it represents a major step forward for countries like Jamaica that depend heavily on the ocean.
Entry into force of the UN High Seas Treaty is a milestone for multilateralism, for ocean governance, and particularly for small island developing states like Jamaica, who rely on the ocean for food security, socioeconomic development, and our well-being. Jamaica is truly pleased that the number of ratifications required to trigger entry into force of this agreement has now been achieved. The critical date of January 17, 2026, when the treaty will begin to help achieve international biodiversity targets, including the pledge for all countries who are signatory to protect 30% of their land and sea areas by 2030.
Jamaica was among 18 countries that ratified the treaty at the United Nations Oceans Conference earlier this year after first signing the agreement in September 2024. The minister says Jamaica is already moving to protect its marine environment, with 15% of its territorial waters under protection.
Jamaica remains firmly committed to the SDGs, including SDG 14, which focuses on protecting life below water. We continue to make strategic decisions domestically to protect our marine environment, having already protected 15% of our territorial waters. The work focused on development of our blue economy will also include coastal zone management, marine and coastal ecosystem restoration, and the designation of new marine protected areas.
The treaty, which required a minimum number of ratifications before coming into force, is expected to play a key role in the global push to protect biodiversity and support the development of the blue economy. Caribbean Airlines is pulling the plug on its Jamaica to Fort Lauderdale service as the state-owned carrier moves to cut losses and meet a new mandate from the Trinidadian government. The airline says flights from Kingston and Montego Bay to Fort Lauderdale will be discontinued effective November 2, following a detailed review of the route's performance. The decision comes just months after the service was relaunched and expanded to daily flights. Despite expectations of strong demand from the Jamaican diaspora, passenger loads have fallen well below targets, with seat utilization rates as low as 29% compared to much higher figures for competitors such as JetBlue and Spirit. Passengers with bookings beyond November 1 are being contacted directly and offered full refunds. Caribbean Airlines stresses that the move is part of a wider restructuring plan aimed at fleet efficiency, cost management, and long-term profitability. September is being observed as Senior Citizens Month, and today we take a look at the measures in place to support Jamaica's elderly. From pensions under the National Insurance Scheme to the newer social pension program, thousands of seniors are receiving help to meet their daily needs. But as the Ministry of Labour and Social Security points out, the work goes beyond payments. It's also about ensuring older Jamaicans live with dignity, respect, and easier access to services.
Jamaica's elderly have contributed greatly to the country's growth, but many face challenges of health and limited income. Speaking on GIS's Get the Facts program, Chief Technical Director in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, Audrey Dare Williams, says the ministry has designed programs to support them in their later years.
So at the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, we have a number of social protection programs which are tailored and catering to our senior citizens.
Right.
So they can be categorized broadly into two segments. We have our non-contributory as well as contributory programs.
Mrs. Williams explains the ministry offers both contributory and non-contributory programs with the National Insurance Scheme, or NIS, providing pensions for over 150,000 people locally and overseas.
In terms of our contributory programs, most persons would know the National Insurance Scheme.
Right.
That is where most persons get their main source of pension from. As a matter of fact, the National Insurance Scheme currently caters to almost 150,000 pensioners across Jamaica and across the world.
Right.
So we have approximately 136,000 pensioners locally and another 12,000 pensioners overseas.
For those without a pension or steady income, there is the Social Pension Program launched in 2021, targeting Jamaicans 75 years and older.
So our non-contributory program is the social pension, which was launched in 2021. And that caters to persons who are 75 years and older, who do not receive a pension from any source, who are not in any government institution, and have no other source of income.
She adds that accessing benefits has become easier with parish and satellite offices across the island. More services are also moving online to make applications and the payments more convenient.
So as of now, approximately 80% of our NIS pensioners receive payments through direct deposit, and it is so easy, so convenient for them. Any issues?
That's the feedback you're getting?
Yes, that's the feedback we get, and we're happy with that. In terms of our social pension, all of our payments are digital. So you either get a payment directly to your bank account or through the remittance agencies.
Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I am Danita Rodney.
Let's take a look at this week's Young Boss.
Hi, my name is Danielle Pinnock, CEO of Swedish Gem, the sweet and spicy we all love. I love making pepper sauce, but I don't eat pepper. I'm afraid of pepper. But my partner, he loves pepper. So I always make pepper sauce for him. And how the business idea came about, I was working somewhere that I was very unhappy there. And I don't know, it just come in my head, why not try like a pepper jelly? You know, so I just write it down. I went home the evening and I Google it, YouTube, because I never know. The idea just popped up in my head. I was in bed one night and the name, I wanted to use my nickname. So hold on. My nickname is Poogie. just wanted to use Puggy Peppers Jelly, PPP. I was like, no, my sister said no. So the name of the business is Sweetie's Gem. And Sweetie is the name of my grandfather. He died in 2017. And Gem is the name of my grandma. She died last year. So my sister said, why not use both? So I said, how are we going to combine both? So, we're playing with the names until we get Sweetie's Gem. And the slogan, the sweet and spicy we all love. Of the two, my grandfather, Daddy, he was the sweet one. And my grandma, she was the spicy, feisty one. So everything just mixed. I'll make some batch and it will look red. Some will look green, some will look yellow because I don't put any color in it. It is just 100% natural, 100% Scotch bonnet pepper, because that's what I use. So it is all natural. It has been good. They call me the pepper lady whenever I go. I haven't had anybody that taste it and like, this not taste good, or everybody love it. My partner is very supportive. He's very supportive. So when I started, I was a bit doubtful, but as I said, he's a pepper person, and he said to me, this tastes really nice, and try it, make other people try it and hear what them say. And yeah, my favorite part is telling people about my product. Yeah, that is the favorite part. Go ahead, just do it. It makes no sense you sit and you have doubts, or what if this don't work out. And to be honest, I've always wanted to have my own business. I try enough something, I'm not going to lie, like a whole heap of something, but this is what works for me. And I think because I love making pepper sauce, yeah, this is it. I'm just online. Just online, yes, at Sweeties_Gem. That is SWIDDYS_Gem. The number is there as well. You can call, and I do delivery, and for now it's free. So yeah.
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
For the trading period ending September 23, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. Toll road operator Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited shares of 14,373,094 units traded, representing 50.83% of market sales volume. Gaming and Entertainment Group Supreme Ventures Limited shares of 2,921,151 units traded, representing 10.33% of market sales volume. Refreshment Distributor Wisynco Group Limited ordinary shares with 1,955,784 units traded, representing 6.92% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rate set by the Bank of Jamaica. On September 24, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US $62.7 million purchased and US $54.84 million sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned $1.83 per dollar, selling the US at $161.05 and buying the US at $159.22. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders $2.80 per transaction, with selling at $115.52 and buying at $112.72. The British pound yielded Forex traders 71 cents in profits, with selling at $216.12 and buying at $215.41. For the credit report tip of the day, cash is tight? That's not your roadblock. It's your starting point. Credit is your tool, your leverage, your engine. Use it or stay stuck. Here's how to move. First, separate and shield. Build business credit now. Protect your personal funds while giving your venture room to expand. Then shop and negotiate. Don't accept the first loan offer. Compare, pushback, demand better terms. Invest and multiply. Credit channel into assets that cash flow, rentals, businesses, dividend stocks. Then cut and redirect. Consolidate loans, lower payments, and push the savings into growth. Then audit and upgrade. Pull your credit report today. Fix errors and raise your score step by step. Wealth doesn't wait. It responds to decisive action, sharp strategies, and relentless consistency. Now, if you're building something from nothing and you're in the resilience or recovery or beyond move of your financial life, and you're a professional woman over the age of 45 and feel like inflation priced you out of assets, stop waiting, stop comparing, start moving. Here's your action plan. Run your numbers. What's your net worth, your debt, your income? Don't guess, measure. Cut and redirect. Eliminate wasteful spending and push those dollars into investments that grow, stocks, rentals, or a business. Then create new income streams. Use your expertise. Launch a side hustle. Offer consulting. Then leverage credit and strategy. Good credit isn't just a score, it's leverage. Use it to access funding for assets and opportunities. Build your wealth squad. Don't go solo. Have advisors, coaches, and strategists. Every step compounds. Every move positions you closer to ownership, freedom, and independence. This isn't about catching up to peers. It's about building your comeback story with relentless action. The window isn't closed. The time isn't gone. The next 90 days can change your trajectory if you act. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step toward your future. Until next time, stay focused, stay informed, and keep striving for success. See you soon.
In regional news, in Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissesa is standing firm on her government's support for the United States' presence in Caribbean waters, even as she reaffirmed her commitment to CARICOM unity. Speaking ahead of her trip to the United Nations General Assembly, the Prime Minister said Trinidad and Tobago must prioritize national security in the face of rising crime and trafficking.
So whilst we have the unity in CARICOM, every nation state in the CARICOM is free to exercise their sovereign rights as they think best.
Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissesa was clear and unapologetic regarding government support for the United States in Caribbean waters. Speaking ahead of her trip to the United Nations General Assembly on Thursday, she addressed concerns about CARICOM unity and foreign military presence in the region.
At this time, our willingness in accepting the U.S. in the waters of the Southcom, in the Southern Caribbean, in the international waters, I'm very happy about that. That is my sovereign right for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Remember, many of the other CARICOM nations do not have the carnage we have here. We had over 600 murders in this tiny island state in 1 year. Okay? We have the narco trafficking, the human trafficking, and many other ills that comes from the criminality. Many of those CARICOM nations do not face a similar thing.
But even despite the stance, the Prime Minister reaffirmed her commitment to CARICOM, saying that unity remains vital.
We'll be united and do better. But where it is that this threat, this narco threat and criminal threat, Trinidad and Tobago is the most hit. We are the most blasted. And we are the most suffering when it comes to that. We can't do the same things we've been doing for 20 years and expect it to change.
But she made it clear that this country simply does not have the resources to fight crime alone.
So this is a game changer in a sense, having help from others who are larger than we are. They have the resources. We don't have the resources. We don't have the resources. We have not had them for the past umpteen years where the crime just ran away. We have to do things different. So to my CARICOM partners or cousins, brothers, sisters in the CARICOM, we love them. We are committed to the CARICOM. So nothing I'm saying is against the CARICOM. It has to do, as I say, with first of all, looking after the safety and security of the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
The Prime Minister was also asked by reporters if there was any possibility of a meeting with US President Donald Trump at the UN General Assembly.
So far, that is not on the agenda, but if it happens, I'm sure we'll welcome it.
or at the very least any other officials, especially
Yes, we do intend to meet some U.S. officials. As I say, those are being finalized with the Minister of Foreign Affairs at this time.
Any meetings with Venezuelan officials?
So far, not to my knowledge on the agenda.
The Prime Minister will lead a delegation to New York for the UN General Assembly on Thursday. Sonolala, TTT News.
Ambassador Leif Escalona, Venezuela's top diplomat in St. Lucia, is warning of a potential security crisis in the Caribbean. She says escalating tensions between Venezuela and the United States threaten the region's stability. The warning comes as Washington intensifies its campaign against Caracas. The details in this report.
The United States government has intensified their strategy against Venezuela.
The Caribbean, long considered a zone of peace, faces potential threats from rising tensions between the United States and Venezuela.
Combining economic blockade, military intimidation, and aggressive media campaign. This offensive is designed to force a change of government in open violation of international law and the principles of the country.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro came to power in 2013 following the death of Hugo Chavez. A presidential election in 2018 resulted in Maduro's victory. In 2019, the United States raised concerns about the legitimacy of his presidency, leading to a political crisis. Maduro has accused the U.S. of backing a coup attempt, and he faces U.S. allegations of being a drug trafficker, claims he has denied. The U.S. has deployed warships off the coast of Venezuela as part of anti-narcotics operations in the Caribbean. The U.S. has also reported interdictions of vessels allegedly carrying drugs, which Venezuela has characterized as attacks on fishing boats.
It's very important to know that this strategy, historically known as gunboat diplomacy, not only threatens Venezuelan sovereignty, it also seeks to establish a precedent of geopolitical coercion against our entire region.
Venezuela has expressed concern about a narrative which it attributes to the U.S., portraying it as a narco-state in need of aggressive intervention. Venezuelan officials have accused the U.S. government of attempting a false flag event to justify its actions. Ambassador Leif Escalona cited a recent incident in which she alleges Venezuelan officers intercepted a boat from Colombian territory with 4 detainees and a large quantity of cocaine.
The 4 detainees confessed and confirmed that they both and the drugs were part of a DEA setup to incriminate Venezuela.
According to Ambassador Escalona, the ongoing feud is not about drugs or oil, but is related to the historical 1899 dispute. She said the modern version of this dispute concerns the Essequibo region and the ongoing territorial disagreement with Guyana.
Venezuela has always maintained a position of respect, but we cannot accept unilateral decisions over a territory and waters that are still subject to negotiation. To the CARICOM states, the international community, our message is clear. This controversy must be resolved with full respect for sovereignty, international law, and the spirit of dialogue.
Escalona stated that Venezuela is preparing for a potential threat or invasion by training over 8 million combatants inducted into the Bolivarian militia. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
We focus our sports report on cricket. The 2026 Caribbean Premier League CPL Finals will be held at the Kensington Oval in Barbados. The announcement was confirmed by CPL Chief Executive Officer Pete Russell, who expressed confidence that the venue will deliver a successful event. The finals, set for the 14th edition of the Republic Bank CPL, marks a significant shift from Guyana's Providence Stadium, which hosted the tournament's climatic match for 4 consecutive years since 2022. According to tournament reports, Providence Stadium generated an estimated US $84 million in 2022 and a record US $101.6 million in 2023. It was a warm welcome home for the players and staff of the Trinbago Knight Riders, who returned to Trinidad and Tobago on Monday following their triumph in the 2025 Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League. TTT Sports' Adrian Lazar caught up with the CPL champions at the Piarco International Airport.
The 2025 Republic Bank CPL champions, the Trinbago Knight Riders, received a hero's welcome at the Piarco International Airport on Monday, following their 3-wicket win over the Guyana Amazon Warriors in the final at the Providence Stadium. TKR captain Nicholas Puran spoke on the magnitude of their achievement.
Yeah, I mean, this week is really special for Trinidad, right? With the Republic Day being a couple of days away. Obviously, Dream and Keisha getting medals in the World Championship, and then for TKR to come and win the CPL. It's an amazing week. And for us, obviously, the welcome back home has been really special for us. And I just feel like we just didn't win the CPL, but this was for the entire Trinidad and Tobago. The games we played here, everyone came out and supported us, and this month has been really nice.
Puran commended his team on recovering from a mid-tournament slump.
Yeah, from inception, it felt we were dominant from the beginning of the tournament, and then coming on to the back end of the tournament, we lost a couple of games, lost some momentum, and we found ourselves in an eliminator game. And as a group, we had to obviously sit and reevaluate, reflect on what has gone right for us and what has gone wrong, and we had to take the hard road. But I just believe that in life, if you want something, you have to work hard for it, and we had to really work hard going into Guyana. We know how style that crowd can be, and we knew we had to win 3 out of 3 games to be successful, and that's what we did.
Head coach Dwayne Bravo also commented on the boos received by Kyron Pollard in the final.
As he said, it's get boring now, and those things rile him up. When you're someone who as good as Kyron Pollard, you don't try to get him upset. You just stay calm, but like I said, each of their own, everybody have their way how to go about certain things. That's the way of how they show their anger towards him, but it's good that it drive him, but like I said, it's getting boring now, but yeah, you can't stop someone from doing something,
Bravo described it as a great feeling to bring the CPL trophy back home in TNT.
It's a great feeling, and this is for Trinidad and Tobago, this is for the people, and we really wanted this trophy. It's been a while, over 5 years, it's been a long wait. We set off from the camp that at one point in time we felt that we're no longer the most dominant team, and we need to get back that mojo, get back that swag. So, and the only way we can do that is by going out there and win the trophy. So happy to bring it back home, and hopefully we can keep it here for a while. I ain't learn anything, I just be myself. And just encourage the guys and trust them, the most important thing. And remember, the players are the most important one, not me.
Adrian Lazar, TTT Sport.
That's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.